So if we can split wrestling into 10 categories, and that becomes the wrestling match.
But all men against each other.
Correct. So, so now, I get
sort
that.
of key point.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so all I'm saying is, what is it that makes the man the man? Is it the hormones? Okay. Is it, if it's the hormones, and you decide to give yourself a different cocktail of hormones, I'm making this up, by the way. I'm not saying it should happen this way. It's a way to start thinking about it.
It would be
maybe the track meets have hormone categories.
And maybe giving yourself the wrong hormones is deleterious to your health. Would you not admit that? Do you think we can just safely do things like this?
What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Interesting day in the news. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of was a big deal for a little while. He was running all the podcast circuits. He was on TV. Everyone was, I don't know, worshiping him or something. The guy's an astrophysicist. He's not dumb, okay? He's not book dumb. But then, for some reason, I don't know if it started in the past 2 or 3 years, he probably started missing the limelight, missing the spotlight. And so the only way he could get back into it, because what normal person can really, understand what that guy's even talking about, relate to what that guy's talking about. So he shifted gears to get back in the spotlight, and it started by spreading woke propaganda, gender ideology, things of that nature. And this is nothing new. He appeared on Bill Maher the other day and got absolutely eviscerated because, well, he's a complete moron. I hope you're enjoying this week's news. If you are, make sure you leave a like on the video. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below. Bill Maher and Neil deGrasse Tyson clash over woke college campuses. You should be calling them out. Maher also confronted the famous scientist for his comments on gender and trans athletes. Well, yeah. HBO host and comedian Bill Maher clashed with popular astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson on Club Random podcast on Sunday over how to address woke college campuses and trans athletes. Tyson brought up how Maher no longer performs stand-up at college campuses and asked if the comedian was writing off an entire generation or refusing to, quote, adjust to the shift in what students find acceptable to joke about. So why is it their fault and not your fault? He prodded Maher. Maher defended his stance, saying literally every comedian has abandoned performing at colleges because they can't avoid offending students. He slammed Neil deGrasse Tyson for not calling out the far left's threat to free speech on campuses. Well, I don't know. I mean, I just went to kind of a state college, so we never had big famous comedians coming, but I know it was a thing. I mean, when I was growing up, Dane Cook was like the biggest thing since the Beatles in this country with college broskies. But why would any comedian go to some college campus and have these like super soldiers, harassing their viewers or get canceled or all this? It's not even worth it. Continue, quote, I've given up on any place that doesn't remotely attempt to believe in free speech and thinks that anything they hear and that they don't like and they don't agree with is some sort of like putting your hands on someone. These people are effing nuts. You should be calling them out. Maher challenged Tyson. The reason Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't calling him out is because he believes in this crap. You're doing what parents do. You're taking the path of least resistance and therefore hurting the kids and yourself. Parents ruin both their lives. They ruin their effing spoiled kids' lives. They ruin their own lives because their kids rule the roost. So that's what you're doing on a national level, he told Tyson. Tyson retorted that he wanted to avoid alienating his younger audience by navigating the landmines of culture so he could still have influence. And right there is a stunning admission. That is Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that he self-censors and he's more worried about upsetting his fans than telling the truth. So in that one stunning admission, you knew that this guy was a clown and a stooge for the message. And always has been. I mean, I guess once he got a taste of national fame, I suppose. Quote, it's not good enough to be right. You have to be effective, he argued. Later on, the pair moved on to the debate on what should be done in athletic competitions with essentially biological males competing against biological females. No one's whining about biological females wanting to compete against biological males because it does not give them an advantage. We just saw two different national stories in the past week. One of a lacrosse player, I believe it was lacrosse, a biological male playing against biological females and completely destroying the face of a biological female due to their insanely, over-advantaged strength. We also saw a story of biological female jiu-jitsu fighters in a tournament being forced to fight against biological men. In fact, there were apparently almost as many biological men there to compete against biological women than there were biological women. And if you're unfamiliar with jiu-jitsu, you're rolling around, grappling on the ground with somebody. So who could wonder why maybe these men were there? I mean, that's just speculation. I don't know. But the women stood up and said, I'm not going to do this. And the old governing body of jiu-jitsu said, okay, cool, you don't have to. But they were going to try to make them do it nonetheless. Neil deGrasse Tyson then suggested that competitions like track meets could be divided into hormone categories, like wrestling is categorized into body weight, to settle concerns about biological men having an unfair advantage against biological women. That is the dumbest point ever. You can take whatever supplements you want to drive your hormone levels down. That does not erase the 20 years of testosterone coursing through your body, making your bones stronger, your muscles stronger, your reaction times faster, making you able to run faster, jump higher. Just because you plummet, you end up like you drink a bunch of soy lattes to plummet your T levels, that doesn't undo all of that. To continue, so all I'm saying is, what makes the man? Well, new chromosomes, the scientist asks. If it's hormones, okay. If it's hormones and you decide to give yourself a different cocktail of hormones, I'm making this up, by the way. Of course he is. I'm not saying it should happen this way. It's a way to start thinking about it. Maybe the track meets have hormone categories. Imagine that. After sighing at Tyson's suggestion, Bill Maher challenged Tyson to agree that cross-hormone therapy was not healthy. Why would you not admit that? Do you think we can safely do things like this, he asked. Instead of answering Maher's question, Tyson suggested the host's concerns about the health effects of these treatments was disingenuous. So instead of answering the question, which of course, at least I'm no doctor, okay, but I think most people I would talk to, and it is my opinion that it is extremely dangerous to be doing this. We have no idea what long-term effects are like. This whole idea that you can pause a point in someone's life in which their body is undergoing the most physiological, biological changes that it ever will, without any kind of long-term consequence is absurd. He continues, quote, so you feel this way because you're so deeply concerned about the health of people who try to find their place on the gender spectrum? You care about their health so much that you want them to go through with that, he asked. Maher retorted that it doesn't keep him up at night. He does care for the well-being of every person. He quickly wrapped up the conversation soon after, admitting they wouldn't come to a consensus on the issue. Well, because, ironically, the scientist is not driven by science. I mean, again, Neil deGrasse Tyson, from what I remember, was a big fan of, statements like follow the science, trust the science. How can anyone trust the science when allegedly the most intelligent people around us, the smartest people around us, are complete morons? I don't really understand how they can expect the normal everyday person to buy this crap. You see this article, Bill Maher, Neil deGrasse Tyson clash over woke college campuses. You should be calling them out, but this isn't the first time. Here's an article from The Spectator, Neil deGrasse Tyson's descent into woke madness. This is from 2023, just about a month ago. Over the past year or two, the astrophysicist has made it his life's mission to advance the idea that gender is little more than a social construct. Why does he do that? Why is Neil deGrasse Tyson... This is why people have this is why people, I don't know, have these conspiracy theories. Because why is a man who is by all measures probably, doing just fine financially, who's very smart in one particular field in which not a lot of people know a lot of things about, astrophysics, why is he spending his time pushing the message? I don't know. Hucky's here. Hi, Huck. Yeah. Hey, Poppy. Ooh. I don't really understand how, you go from talking about space and science and things of that nature to talking about gender ideology in more of your interviews than you talk about science. Is it because it's the only way he'll get a platform anymore? Is it because he's being paid? I don't know. But certainly there are people out there that would, at least give the idea that he might be getting paid some credence, right? If we go back to just a little while ago, he appeared on Trigonometry, a free speech YouTube show run by a British satirist and, Konstantin Kisin. And he pressed Tyson on the claim that of criticism that he posed the idea that biological males are competing on biological females teams. Why is Neil deGrasse Tyson spending all his time on this? Isn't it weird? Why is he out there? Like, look, Neil, if your love interest is a trans individual or something like that, cool, I support you, okay? But this level of overcompensation, this level of weirdness, it doesn't really make sense to me. It seems like he's bought and paid for by the machine to spread the message. That's just my opinion. I'll be curious to hear yours in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below. It helps an absolute ton. We'll talk to you again real soon.